So let's just say it. You're not lazy, you're not broken, you're just disconnected. And there's a really good reason why.
Every week, we speak to brilliant, successful people who feel like they're failing. And it's not just because they can't take action. They actually can. But it's just that they've lost touch with what actually matters to them. So what we're going to talk about today is bringing that languaging around to what it really is about. Because you might say to yourself, look, I'm lazy, I've got no discipline, I know I need to do these things, but I just procrastinate on them all the time. It's really common, isn't it?
It is very, It's sort of like we have this experience and we overlay our assessment on what's going on. And usually it's, we give ourselves a hard time about it, but it's not even true. It's based on lies, and we'll look at how that works. But it doesn't serve us either. In the long term, we end up creating more dissatisfaction in our lives.
Yeah, it's really weird because we think, well, it must be me. I must be the common denominator because I'm the one not doing the work. I'm the one not actually progressing with this thing. So if I just fix all those things about me, then of course the work's going to get done. But that's not how we work as human beings. We work because we're drawn towards something, not because we have this inner ability to just really push and hustle. We can do that, but only short-lived. We can't do that long-term. So if you've been in your career, for example, for 20 years, it's totally normal that you might feel a little burnt out by the whole thing or a little bored by the whole thing and have let go of the dreams and desires that you had in the past because, well, it was all about making the money or making the business or raising the kids and all the things that we put before us having the joy in our life.
That's right. And when we've done that for a period of time, there's a dynamic that kicks in that sees us becoming very familiar with that zone, and that way of operating in our lives. And familiarity is what sort of puts a pause at least on us going for anything outside of what we already know. So we might sort of dip a toe, we might sort of have these inner urges to try something out, but we won't really fully lean into that before we come snapping back to what's familiar. Problem is that whilst familiar feels safe, it feels like it is a known space, it doesn't serve us well in moving into our fullest expression and experience in life.
And then there's sort of like this flatness that comes across us, isn't there? So we sort of get to this point where perhaps, hey, look, you might have the bills all covered and you get to take the family on a trip or two every year and all those sorts of things. But there's a shine, a glint in your eye that's lost just simply because you're not really being in touch with those things that, are true for you or were once true for you and you've shelved. So maybe you used to do art or singing or even physical exercise or getting out in nature, and that's just not fitting into your timetable anymore. And it's not made a priority. So you come home, you watch the telly, you play a game, get on the social media. And again, it's not helping us to connect into that fullest expression that you're talking about there. So any wonder there's a lot of people walking around in this state of disconnect and yet feeling like, I just can't really get my act together to get the important things done because you're just losing your shine. So what do we do about it?
Well, the thing is we become clear again. We explore what are those things, the things that maybe when we were younger we used to love doing, or we used to have an aptitude for, a natural sort of set of gifts and talents that saw us doing something quite easily compared to others who might struggle with that same thing. But it's time to take a look at these things and start to, get curious again about the things that we really love. And just allowing ourselves to explore that without assessing these things from the perspective of viability. Is this going to bring in the dollars? Is it going to pay the bills? Or, how's this relevant? How is it important? Because usually what we do is we place priority on those things that we deem to be of a more viable nature, and the rest has to sit off to the side until such times as we've got so much viability going on, then we may visit it, which rarely happens.
It's almost like we need to make whatever it is that we're doing worthy in some way, shape or form. And as you say, like bringing in some dollars or, maybe making a gift for somebody. But you can just do something for the sake of doing it, just by means of curiosity and exploring, this was something I used to love doing. And I know for me, and I'm sure you're the same as well, that when we see our clients reconnect into some of these activities, picking up a paintbrush, breaking out in song, all these things, everything changes. Their business, their sense of aliveness, their clarity. It's just that it seems that it doesn't matter what the thing is. If it's true for you, if it's something that you're drawn to, that very likely it is the antidote to the dullness of life, to the humdrum, the boredom, if you like. And then all of a sudden, motivation is restored in all aspects of life, which is amazing.
Yeah, so it's like that power of enthusiasm kicks back in for life again. And when that's kicking, you realize how long it's been since it was. And it's exciting. Things start to shine again, and it feeds into every aspect of life as well. It's an energy, and it's an inner energy.
We become better parents, better bosses, better employees, better whatever. Yeah. Whatever we're doing, we become better because we start to shine from the inside out again.
We inevitably arrive at this point in life where if we have denied these things that are true for us in our lives for long enough, we will arrive at this point where we feel stuck. We feel like there's got to be more to me and more to life, and that's going to be sooner or later, one person to the other. But it never really goes away. It's like this inner calling, this inner yearning that seeks to be expressed and experienced through us, in our lives, in the world. So it's about getting on with it.
Absolutely. And the other thing I was going to mention was the magnitude of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go, I'm going to take up my hobby, and all of a sudden it's like it's an all or nothing thing. I've got to be in it a lot. But actually, if you spend an hour a week painting or 10 minutes a day, it's that magnitude is enough. You don't have to be fully immersed for 24/7 in this thing. Mind you, the more you do it, the more you will probably want to do it. And you'll just learn to fit it into your schedule, whether that means, heaven forbid, getting up a little bit earlier or carving out a bit of your television time or whatever it is. But you will find it, and it will leverage everything else that you're doing in your life.
Yeah,
so don't worry about the magnitude of it as well. Just do something. Pick up a pencil, draw a picture, sing a nursery rhyme. Doesn't matter. Let's get started. So what do we do from here?
Well, the first thing is to explore, discover what is it? What's that thing? So I'd say in relation to that is join us, on our school community.
Yeah, definitely. We're doing some really cool things in there, and we are helping people to discover the things that light them up, things that we often don't let ourselves see anymore. Also, you might be aware of something right now. You could actually pop it in the comments below, and we would love to see that. We'll reply to you in some way, shape or form. We'd love to connect. So we'll see you on school. The link is also below. You'll see that in the description, and come and check us out. Can't wait to share with more of you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.